The same question we are going to do again, what we saw in the previous NS chart. This time you try again, but what we are trying to do is, this time we are going to provide another version of the same thing slightly. Now I have done the condition in a slightly different way. In the previous one I checked for num1 equals to num2 here and did the solution. This time I have put num1 greater than. I can do num1 less than and also do different. Accordingly I have to change the rest of it. Okay, so I'm just giving you another version for you to see. You can try your own versions also and check it out. So let's try run through this version and see, with the same set of three different numbers: larger, smaller, smaller, larger, and then same numbers. Okay, so let's start off. In this one again we need the screen and the two variables, and then we start. Okay, when it says enter a number, the message will appear, then it's waiting for the number. Let's say user types 10, will be accepted by num1. Num1 will become 10. You go to the next one. It says show enter another number, so that message also comes. And you go to the next one to wait for the number. So the user types a number. Let's say he enters 20 and press enter. That will be accepted by num2. So num2 will become 20. Then you go to the next one. Now here we are checking num1 greater than num2. So num1, is this greater than this? Whenever you talk about variables, you are actually talking about the contents of the variables. Always remember that. Okay. So these are two variables, num1 and num2. So num1 greater than num2. When I say that, you have to check the values inside the num1 and num2 and compare them and see whether they are greater. So num1 is 10, num2 is 20. So is num1, which is 10, greater than num2, which is 20? No. 10 is smaller than 20. So this is no. No, not yes. If it is yes only, it will go through this side. So since it is no, it's going into the no side. So in the no side, which is separated by this, for this condition, the separation is this line. Okay, this is the yes side, this is the no side. So when it comes to the no side, in the no side, there happens to be another decision box within that. So that decision box checks to see whether num1 and num2 are equal. Are they equal, 10 and 20? No. So again, in this box also, you have to go to the no side. If it is yes only, you come to this side, where we are going to say both same. But since these are not same, we are going into the no side. So in the no side, we are first printing show num1. So num1 is what? The smaller out of the two. So which says 10. Then you go to the next line, it says show num2. Num2 is 20. This place. See? Accepted the two numbers and printed the smallest number first, next number afterwards. So after doing that, you go to the end. So that is the first version with the smaller number. So now let's try the same thing with a larger number. I'm not changing anything in the NS chart. Okay, it's same as the one I did in my previous dry run. So let's do this again. Screen and the two variables, num1 and num2. Two variables are here. So we start. Okay. Start, nothing happens in the start. Go to the next line. Always in a chart, go from top to bottom, one by one, unless there is a condition where you decide and go on to either of the side. So in this case, you are here, show enter a number, message appears, then you wait for the number, one, user types a number, say 20 this time. So num1 will take 20. Then you go to the next line and say enter another number, that message will come. Then wait for the number 2, num2. So user will, let's say, type a smaller number, which is 10, and enter. That will go into num2. Now this time num1 has taken a larger number and num2 has taken a smaller number. Okay. Now after accepting the num2, you go to the condition. In the condition, we are checking whether num1 is greater than num2. Yes, num1 is 20, num2 is 10. So because this is larger, you go to the yes side. This condition is true, so you go to the yes. If this false only, you go to the no side. But in this particular instance, this contains 20 and this contains 10. Therefore, num1 greater than num2 is true. Yes. So you go to the yes side. So in the yes side, as you can see, separated by this particular line, this is the yes side, this is the no side. Now we are going into the yes side. So in the yes side, first statement says show num2. Why? Because num1 is greater than num2. So we don't want to print the num1 first. Instead, we want to print the num2 because num2 is the smallest. Because that is our requirement of this NS chart. So that is why you are doing it like this. So when you print num2, num2 happens to have 10. So 10 will be printed first, and then you go and show num1, which is 20. 20 is printed after, and then you come to the end. So once again, even though we entered the larger number first and a smaller number afterwards, still it displayed the smaller first and the larger following that. Now let's try the same thing with the equal numbers. So again, we need the two variables and the screen, and reminding again, screen is the only area the user is able to see. The end user who is using the system will only be able to see the screen. This is only for us to dry run, and it's inside the computer. Okay. So and these are the instructions for the computer, right? So let's start. Show enter a number. So this will display. Now the user will see this message and he has to type a number. Now to get the number, we have this get num instruction. Get, and it's taking into num1, which is this one. Okay. So let's say user types 10. 10 will be accepted by num1. Okay, num1 variable. Then you go to the next line, which is this. Show enter another number, and you go and wait for the num2 here. Now user, let's say, types the same number again. That also is that is taken by num2, which is here, right? So after this, we go to the next line, which is a decision box. Num1 greater than num2. Is this? No. They are equal. So equal means this is false. This condition is false. This condition says num1 is bigger than num2. That is not true, because for this instance, num1 is 10, num2 is 10. So num1 is not greater than. They are equal. So therefore, this becomes no or false, and therefore it doesn't go through this side. Instead, it goes through the no side, because this condition is false for this value. So, okay, fine. So in the no side, there is another decision box. So you come to that check. Now this check is doing, are they equal? Num1 equals to num2? Yes. Num1 is 10, num2 is also 10 in this case. So they are equal. Therefore, you go to the yes side. And the yes side is separated by this vertical bar for this decision box, and you go to the yes side, which says show both same. So it will display the message both same. So after this, it comes to the end. It won't go through this side. So as you can see, when you enter the same number twice, like in our previous one also, I have slightly modified this, but still it's giving me the same answers. It says both same, and then end it. Right, so that brings us to the end of this. If you have any questions, doubts or whatever regarding this, please put that in the group. Okay, thank you very much.